A majority of pop music is written in verse, pre-chorus, chorus, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, bridge, chorus form. How do you write songs with repeating phrases like that without sounding repetitive? This is where sonic function comes into play. Sonic function is the idea of using instrumentation or other production means to create a three-step process: the setup, build-up, and climax. To better understand this concept, I'm going to demonstrate some ways we use instrumentation either by adding or removing to create a tension and release that occurs before and during a chorus or throughout the whole song. In the song Voldemort by With Confidence, the form of the song is intro, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, intro, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, bridge, chorus. Pretty common variation of the standard form that we're used to. The meaning behind the title and the lyrics of the song are pretty interesting. The song is about supporting someone who struggles with mental health issues and the struggles of being the person that supports them. In the Harry Potter series, the name Voldemort is a cursed name. It's the name that shall not be said. I don't know. I've never watched Harry Potter. But the parallel draws from being the name that shall not be said and the stigma of talking about mental health. This song was written in 2015 or so, but the stigma was a lot more prevalent than it is today. So first off, we're going to talk about the intro and the verse. This is what I'm going to call our setup. Now, we have the intro with just some lead guitar, rhythm guitar, and just a shaker, just to give us some sense of what it is we're in for and kind of just gets us set up for what's coming. Now, the verse is also set up that way, where it's just leading you into what we're getting used to. This is going to be part one of our musical phrases that we're going to hear repeat. This is just going to lay down the foundation of what we're listening to and gives us some exposition into our song. Let's take a listen.
I remember the first night that she said, "Oh, maybe I can do this on my own." And despite all the reassurances and reoccurrences, you will not be alone.
So that's just kind of getting us set up for what we're getting ready to hear. There's just some musical ideas that we're going to keep hearing throughout the entire piece. So I'd like to call the pre-chorus the build-up section. Now, for the build-up, in the pre-chorus, we're going to hear a lot of guitar as we get through a change in chord progressions. So we start off with a 1, 4, 1, 4, 1, 4. Now we're switching from a 4, 5, 4, 5. Right at the end, we're going to hear all the instruments drop out in just a single sustained 5 chord while the vocals are still going. Let's take a listen.
And I know that you're holding out for better weather, and can't promise you that I'll be around forever. One thing you know, it's that we're good together. If there's one thing you know, it's that we're good together.
Alright, that's really good. It feels like it's incomplete. That's that tension that gets created by the instrumentation, as well as just the hanging 5 chord over everything. I've also noticed that dropping out all the instruments just leaves room for anticipation for when they come back, and then the vocalist very subtly pulls the tempo just back, just slightly, So that way, right when everything comes back into the chorus, it just slingshots right back into it. Let's take a listen. I'll move it back just a little bit so we can hear the slingshot.
If there's one thing I know, it's that we're good together, and I will try to hold you up through.
Finally, the release of the tension to the chorus, the most memorable part of every song. It's great. And that's just how we use instrumentation, was just building up all of our guitars and the shaker and everything all together, and then once it all drops out, there's just an air pocket of anticipation waiting for it to come back. So now that we've discussed this concept pertaining to just one chunk of the song, let's zoom out of the picture just a little bit. There's still 3 minutes left of this song. But if we remember, we talked about the form. Intro, verse, pre-chorus, chorus. Intro, verse, pre-chorus, chorus. Bridge, chorus. Well, wait a minute. There's 3 chunks of this song. Well, there's also 3 parts to a sonic function. So why don't we take a look at how we can apply sonic function to this as a whole? The examples that I've come up with in this song is how we use vocal instrumentation to build this setup, build up, and climax throughout the whole song. Let's just take a look. These are some things that I've noticed. So once we get to the chorus the first time, you're going to hear the vocalist, and you're going to hear a lower bass part of the harmony. And it's very hard to hear, so just take a listen and try your best to hear it.
One thing I know, it's that we're good together, and I will try to hold you up through those times when you were gone. And despite the weather, it gets better. You won't do this alone.
Hopefully you're able to hear it. It's really subtle because it's not meant to be heard. It's just there to add some texture to the sound. So hopefully I have it pulled up, but I should have a transcription of it right here, just based off the ear and giving us some idea of what this harmony is supposed to sound like. So now the second time around, as you heard, we were gearing up to get back into the intro. We're going to go through the verse again. Right at the end of the verse, though, the second time, we start hearing like little trickles in of a higher harmony. And that's just getting us ready to hear it when we go into the second time. In the second time we hear the chorus, we're going to hear the main vocalist, and we're going to hear a higher harmony. So let's take a listen to that verse and where you can start hearing that harmony come in.
I remember the first night that she went to find her little place inside this world. I won't forget the way she broke her tape down. She needed it, now she ran into it.
Right there.
Oh. And I know that you're holding out for better weather, and I can't promise you that I'll be around forever. One thing I know, it's that we're good together. If there's one thing I know, it's that we're good together, and I will try to hold you up through those times when you were gone. Despite the weather, it gets better. You won't do this alone.
All right. So hopefully you'll be able to hear it, and I think I should highlight it right here, the transcription that I laid out of the harmony that we heard there at the chorus. That just kind of gives us our build-up. So we had the vocals and the bass for our setup, just laying down the foundation. we have the build-up, but what about the climax? This is my favorite part of the song. So I'll move it back so we can listen to the bridge. Everything is just kind of building up. We have a 6-5-4 chord progression going on. So it kind of changes it up a little bit. This is a little bit different than everything that we've heard in the song. We hear the vocalist come in and out just a little bit with hearing the "Do This Alone" over and over throughout the bridge just a little bit. And then we hear some rhythm things that are building up. And I'll let you hear it.
Times when you were gone, despite the weather, it gets better. You won't do this alone, and I will try to hold you up through those.
I'd let it finish out, but it's pretty much the same thing. It's pretty much the same thing all the way through. So that's where we get our climax. We hear the guitar, da 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 da, building anticipation. Just everything's moving up, and getting faster, and then everything drops out. There's a little pocket of silence, and what comes next is we get all three parts of that three-part harmony coming in as the climax. Nothing else matters except that. The thing that we've been teased through the beginning, from just the vocals and the bass to just the vocal and the high harmony, and now we get everything. But wait, that's not the best part. Then right at the end, we get literally everything. We get our lead guitar back, we get our acoustic guitar back, and we get our shaker back. And we had a couple snaps in there just to get some rhythm as well. But it's just so amazing to see how just from the beginning you could foreshadow everything to climax right at the end where it's supposed to. So that's how we can use sonic function to create a elongated sense of tension and release that's not just fixated on chords and notes and things like that. It's anything that we can use to build tension and release. So like instrumentation and production. And there's so many other examples of how we can do this, and maybe I'll make another video about this. We'll see. But that's it as far as this project. Thank you so much for watching, and see ya.